Now, when you study this, it's an absolute textbook example of how to use counterattacking troops, example of timing, use them at the right time, just as the Germans were starting to relax, and also in leadership in getting those men up there despite being overwhelmed by the numbers of defenders. They sweep onto that hill, and I think it's this underacted act of gallantry that greatly assists the 21st Division's ability to hold Epi throughout the day and through the night. As we leave the South Africans, I just want to point out that I think their defence throughout the entire day was, to my mind, quite spectacular. Now, this ground where we are now, in front of it was held by many of the artillery batteries at the commencement of the bombardment. Most of these guns had been withdrawn through the gaps in the wire, as was the original defence plan. But what we've got here is a quite unique recollection of the day by Lieutenant P.J. Campbell of his time in this battery we see here, this ground we see here.
As we were leaving Chapel Hill and our battery positions along the track towards Nurlu, I had a sudden impulse to go back. I was going back to get the rug out of my valise. Without a word to anyone, I turned around and galloped back along the way we had just come, along the deserted valley, past the ill-fated gun position, back to the pile of neatly rolled valises lying on the ground where the mess cart had dumped them. 2 men were there. Germans? No, English officers. One was sitting in Bingley's green canvas chair, the other was rolling one of the valises, my valise. Where on earth have they come from? Time you got out, I shouted. The Boche will be here in a few minutes. We're waiting for him, said the man in the green canvas chair. I saw they were both Padres. Most of our men who are left have been taken prisoner, said the man in the chair. Our place is with them. The other man was taking the rug out of my valise. I want that, I said. It's what I've come back for. Oh, it's yours, is it? He said. Sorry. Take anything else you like, I said. But I was pulling things out of my valise, wondering what else I could take. Quick, quick, any minute now. The man in the chair had come over to me, gave me a sheet of paper. Write to my wife, he said. I shook hands with them both, then back to my horse, and I was galloping off again, so I could catch up with my battery before they noticed I was even missing.
Now, just as a quick epilogue to that story, I should mention in the days before the internet, you may remember, those of you that were fascinated in the Great War, we used to get medal catalogues that would be posted out to us and read through them and see how can I spend my wages this month. And it would have been around about 1990, I was flicking through one of these and I was stunned to come across a group of medals to a Padre of the 9th Scottish Division that was taken prisoner on the 21st of March 1918. Now, you've just heard that account, and P.J. Campbell goes on to say, I wondered what became of those 2 men. Well, I wish I'd had the money to buy them, because I'm fairly convinced now that those medals belonged to one of those 2 men, and they were indeed taken prisoner and spent the rest of the war tending to their flock in a German prison camp.